Welcome to the Designated Drinker Show, the podcast that's raising the bar on craft cocktails. I am your host, Louise Solis, and with me, as always, is my very, very talented friend who is okay if I scream or you scream, or if we all just scream for ice cream. She's a mix just these two, Gina.
That's cute. And yes, this is a welcome change. I love it.
There you go. All right. So I know everyone from that open, you might think it's all about ice cream, but it's not. It really isn't. It's going to be about seeing life, different times, different points of view. So most people view retirement as their chance to slow down, kick back, relax. For them, retirement is maybe a finish line to a long journey where they finally get a chance to tinker their day away in a workshop, play golf, tennis, or maybe they're out in the garden nurturing plants and watching them bloom. I think that's more like you.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
Others might spend their time, this is more like me, traveling, seeing the world, drinking wine, embarking on adventures and just soaking in the beauty of different cultures and landscapes. I can see us both doing that.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still be running Buffalo and Bergen in my retirement, right? Because my kids will never do a goddamn thing.
But, well, no matter how you choose,
kids.
that's all right, no matter how you choose to spend your retirement, it's all about embracing the freedom to do the things you love, spending time with the people who matter most, and finding new passions to ignite your soul. It's a chapter of life that's filled with possibilities, including the possibility of starting a new business, doing exactly what you love. And that is exactly what today's designated drinker is doing. So please welcome to the show who discovered in retirement how to savor the sweeter things in life, the owner of Mimi's Handmade Ice Cream, Rollin Amore. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Welcome.
I mean, how sweet. Can't get any sweeter than this, Gina.
I mean, his last name is Love. I mean, it's adorable. You cannot get any better than the story,
I know, exactly.
Right?
And that's what I inject into my ice cream. Love.
Yeah. Oh, I do.
There you go.
I feel like a Casanova, right?
I think you set it up and you just knocked it down on that one.
I know. I loved it.
All right, before we go any further, Rollin, please give our listeners just a taste of what Mimi's Handmade Ice Cream is all about.
Yeah, Mimi's Handmade Ice Cream is a combination of concepts. One, an artisan ice cream concept. Two, and really important, is about flavor. I'm about flavor. I'm not about toppings. I'm not about inclusions. I'm not about mixing cookie dough with brownie batter. I'm about bringing great flavors out. And I want to, we have about 40 flavors, and we have a core base of core American ice creams. You know, America's in love with ice cream. It's for hundreds of years almost, but from the butterscotches to the vanillas to the salted caramels. But around that core, I want to bring unusual flavors to people. I do things like a roasted red pepper. I find that, it's delicious. I find that vegetables that are naturally sweet, they make remarkable ice creams. I make corn, I make the red pepper. I bring an ube out, which is a yam from the Philippines. You know, I worked for many years, almost 40 years in Asia, Southeast Asia and China, commuting there. And so I've brought a lot of those flavors into the mix. But I want to bring out flavors, and I want to do it simplistically. I'm not using any kind of artificial flavor. I use ingredients to make flavor. I want people to have the best ice cream experience they can have.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I mean, I'm ready for an ice cream.
I was thinking, let's do it. Let's do it the right way. So just to make our listeners jealous, Rollin's brought us 5 types of ice cream that are different. I'm going to call them frozen treats because they're not all ice cream, right? And he will correct me when I'm wrong. Absolutely. So what do you want to start with, Gina?
This one.
The cucumber.
Yeah.
This is the one I was most waiting to taste, to be honest. I'm so glad you picked that one.
Okay. Rollin, are you going to have any ice cream?
Absolutely.
I like the quietness of it.
Yeah, I know. It's like the anticipation.
I feel like we should be doing this so these people think we're doing something. So
it's so... I would imagine... I don't know how anyone... I love adventurous flavors, and that cucumber is amazing. It's earthy and sweet and refreshing, and...
It's almost like a cucumber sprinkle, right? Like there's that creaminess that like rounds it out, and it's really delicious. Oh, I am very curious. Rather than cucumber, and milk. Right, it's got to be vanilla, a little bit.
A little bit of vanilla.
And then there's something else, and I don't know what it is in there with it.
Well, there are magic ingredients, of course.
But it's familiar, and I don't know what it is, and it's like making me crazy.
Well, it's not much more than that. There's a little bit of sugar in there, and I think the vanilla is giving it that nice round. It's rounding the edge a little bit. And
You know what it almost...
Is it the milk? I mean, is it a grass-fed milk?
I do use an organic milk for that, a grass-fed, exactly, and that gives it a nice earthy.
That's what it is.
earthiness
There's
to it.
a tone to it, like the sweet, like there's like another layer.
I'm almost getting dill. Really? A little light, and it might be my way of saying the grassiness. Delicious.
You know, it's first of all, the cucumbers I use, the small Persian cucumbers, which are just phenomenal in flavor. And I use the skins too. It's the skin and the inner part of the cucumber, and it just, it produces a wonderful flavor. You know, that's a unique flavor, and I have unique flavors, but I don't have them for shock value.
Yeah.
They've got to taste good
These are
if they go in
amazing.
my case. And,
That's so good.
And sometimes I work on these for a month, 2 months at a time to perfect the recipe.
It shows. I would say that, I'm going to say that because he leaves the skin on, it's healthy.
Well, oh yeah,
Through
this
and
is definitely-
through.
This is a salad.
Yes, it's a salad.
Yeah.
All right, so first of all, this is beautiful. But it's like the smell of it is so good. But I love that you use the Persian cucumbers because you know what I love about them? They make wonderful perfumes as well.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah, when they use make the perfume essences and stuff, they usually use the small ones or they use the Asian cucumbers that are really teeny tiny. In order to get like that aroma. So how did you come up with this? Like one day you're just like, oh, I'm gonna have ice cream and cucumbers.
That's interesting. Last year, a charity approached me to make some ice creams for a charitable event, actually right here local in town. And they wanted, their request was ice creams from the 1800s. So I went back and, you know, I didn't know what ice creams were popular in the 1800s, but there were a lot more flavors than we have now than the vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. So I picked two of them. I picked a rose water and a cucumber. And I did a little research. The cucumber was introduced in the United States or to the world basically as a tribute to Queen Victoria. And I don't know what the exact event was, but that's when that was made. It also has its roots in Persia. Persian ice creams have, going back through the years, they have cucumber along with their standard Bastani Sonati, which is, it's got saffron in it, it's got rose water, clotted cream, chunks of clotted cream, pistachios. But I made that ice cream and it was so good, it became a permanent fixture in my store.
It's delicious. It's so wonderful.
It doesn't need anything either.
No,
Yeah.
no. It's not looking for anything. It's just really beautiful. But also, your texture is really good. Like, you don't have any, like, ice chunks in there.
No.
It's nice and smooth. Well, no, a lot of ice cream now is overchurned.
Yeah.
So, like, that's one of the things that, you know, becomes, like, an issue, especially when you have, like, you know, fat content versus the water or the sugar content, and then you'll get like these little crystals, and like people will say that, oh, that's really good, and they call it like hard ice cream.
Yeah.
But hard ice cream sometimes is just a way to cover up a mistake. It's like some of these bigger chain coffee places, they burn their coffee intentionally,
Yeah.
so that they can get away from.
So it all tastes exactly the
it tastes
same.
the same, but like. This is really nice. So now when you say handmade, you do run this through a machine.
Oh yes, yes. It's handmade in its preparation.
Got it.
Okay, and everything is prepared. The cucumbers, there are no flavors with what I do, where you just add flavors and some cream and put it in a machine. No, this is handcrafted all the way. It makes a much better ice cream. A similar note is something like my beet ice cream. Grilled beets. I grill beets. I let them caramelize. And the sugars come out and the flavors come out. It's got a real nutty flavor, and I make an ice cream with that. So it's all about the flavor. It's all about that. And what I've discovered is instead of trying to inundate your ingredients with other ingredients, bring out the natural flavor of whatever you're using, whatever that component is. If it's a beet, if it's a cucumber, if it's corn, it doesn't matter. I mean, I've got to get in there and I've got to draw out that natural flavor. I got to find it and bring it out. And that's my objective. That's what I try to do.
Beet ice cream. It was a sugar. That makes sense. Is there a history to that, or is it just something that you?
Well, no, there's a personal history. I used to grill beets in my backyard in aluminum foil, grill them for about 40 minutes, and take them while they're still warm, cut them, put a little olive oil, salt, and pepper on them, and eat them. And they were just wonderful tasting. And I said, one day I made the connection. I said, I bet you they'll still be wonderful tasting if I make an ice cream out of it. So.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious. Beets have been used in baking for a long time, but like they use like white beets and they use them for sugar, especially during like the wars and stuff like that when sugar became very scarce. And I believe red velvet cake came from that. Right?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So it was the beet sugar that they used instead. I want to taste your ice cream. Yeah. I want to make this very clear to our listeners. I have never had a roasted beet ice cream, and 100% I will be having a roasted beet ice cream.
So on the shows, a couple of shows ago, it was quite a while ago actually, we had somebody on the show. My grandparents moved to the U.S. over 100 years ago, and they had bought a farm sight unseen in South Dakota. Unfortunately, with my father's passing, my aunt's passing, we know the real history behind it is gone. They were the eldest children, and even then they would have been young to get the information. But no one actually knows, and we had a historian on the show, and it's all Latin American histories is her background, and she was like, I bet you at that time and that place it was a beet farm that your grandparents bought because of the time and where it was. And then I did ask the eldest sisters, and they were like, yeah, it seems like it could have been, but no one really knows because they didn't grow up there either because of other things that happened. They end up selling and leaving the farm, but. Anyway, history about beets. That's all I got.
It's a hard thing to grow. I mean, it seems like an easy thing, but it's a back-breaking thing to grow for sure.
I guess so.
Yeah, I tried to grow beets. It's a whole mess. Rollin, where are you from? Where are you from?
Where am I from?
Besides heaven, with the ice cream.
Yeah, where am I from?
Besides heaven, Rollin, with the ice cream.
Besides my genetic composition, right?
Yes.
I'm born in Germany. My mother's a German.
Okay.
My father was first generation American. He was a soldier after the war. Met my mother. I was born there. So I have a family there. But I was about 1 year old when we came back to the United States. And I grew up in an Italian neighborhood, New Haven, Connecticut. So needless to say, eating was a very large component of life. It was the fabric that brought the whole community and the family together. And on top of that, about 40 years ago, I was in investment banking, and I used to travel all over Asia, Southeast Asia, and all over China. I did that for 35 years or so. So I have a broad background in flavors, European flavors, Southeast Asian flavors, and not only in ice cream, but in their cuisines in general.
Well, you must. I mean, like, the fact that you even did this is like kind of like, I mean, I think it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, so I have a question, and like I obviously, this is the first time I'm tasting your ice cream. Have you done a bean ice cream? I feel like you must have.
I've done an azuki bean.
Yeah, okay.
When the Cherry Blossom Festival, I put out a slate of ice creams, a cherry blossom, an azuki bean.
Do tell, what is
and matcha. Azuki bean's red mung bean.
Oh, okay.
And basically in Asia, if you go to China, at the end of dinner, sometimes you'll get that. It's a chilled, kind of syrupy substance with the green beans in it. It's very good. I mean, the red beans, the azuki beans. Yeah. It's very good.
Yeah, in Malaysia, they have a dessert called ice kacang, and they put the beans on top with shaved ice and flavors, and sometimes corn. Depends, like what's available, tapioca, whatever. But it's very good. It's cool. Like, you have to be into it. Like, you have to, like...
Yeah, just be open.
Yeah, there's, like, a lot of bean... Like, that's why I'm wondering if you did... That's why I was like, did you do a bean ice cream? Because it's really exciting to me. All right, well, I mean, I'll go to another one. We'll do a more traditional flavor. We do watermelon.
You want to do watermelon?
I mean, is it just watermelon, or is there, like...
What do we got here?
That is the definition of purity. I took a very ripe melon. I pureed it. I added a little sugar, and that's all. No water. No flavoring, no coloring. And I've got to tell you, it is...
So you spun watermelon, just crushed watermelon?
Yeah, pureed it. And basically it tastes just like watermelon, but better.
It's cool.
Of course, I use seedless watermelon.
Otherwise it'd take you too damn long.
I feel bad for Alex today. She's the producer on our show, and she's staring at us like we all suck. Sorry, Alex. This is so good.
It is so good.
That's a real summer treat. I've also made a cantaloupe ice cream.
Oh, I bet.
Similar in nature, where it's
That's
a pure...
my favorite Italian ice.
Oh,
Cantaloupe.
I've never had that as Italian ice.
That is my 100%. There's a place in Long Island called Sapienza's, and I grew up. It's been there since literally, I'm not kidding, like 1901. And they make 4 flavors of Italian ice, and they make chocolate, cannoli, cantaloupe, and lemon. That is it. Or sometimes rainbow. And that's all that they serve there, and it is the best.
So the funny thing is so Gina and I met quite a few years ago by accident, and we've talked about this on the show a couple of times, but a crazy thing about this is like we met here in the DC area maybe about 10 years ago now. My husband was deployed. He was active duty Air Force then, was deployed. And I started spending some time with her. And he meets for the first time at the restaurant she's working at. And she's a couple seats down talking to somebody he can hear. Mm-hmm. And he's like, where is she from? And I was like, well, New York. And he's like, where? And I was like, Long Island. And he's like, no, where on Long Island? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, no, she's definitely. And immediately when he met her, he knew that she was from Garden City because they're from the same area. Elmont is a little town right next door. They're like two little. They're not towns. They're just
towns.
Yeah, municipals, I guess. And
Yeah.
but yeah. And
We're getting fancy.
and
Yes.
now and then
We don't have like a mayor. Is that
and
what
the
you're
other thing
asking?
that they connect through, not only through their accent, well, Dave's is very flat now, but Sapienza's. Apparently, that is the only place in the world you can get rainbow cookies. The only place in the world you can get cannolis. The only place, and they if nothing else,
Well,
they
the other
bonded.
place closed, so there's still a fight about it. It doesn't matter. But that you just brought me home to that like that fresh flavor. Can I ask you a question? How do you know when to stop? Like, you know, like no, not stop eating it. So when you make an ice or an ice cream, right, and you pureed this, how did you know that like I'm gonna stop here because I don't want it to be a water. I want to have like that little chew, right? There's like a little chew to it because it's like natural. Like, was that a happy accident or was that intentional?
No, the chew is because there's some micro clumps of watermelon in there,
But do you
which
stop-
need to be there.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, that's purposeful.
It's so good.
That's absolutely purposeful.
It's
yeah.
almost like a like you think it's like a sprinkle or like something different, and then it's just in there, and it's just like it's so yummy.
So
It's
this is
good.
this is a sorbet then?
Yeah, a sorbet. Sorbets are made with water.
Just water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ice creams are made with cream, and sherbets are generally made with milk product. Somewhat similar to Italian gelato. Gelato is made with milk, not cream, and it has a little more sugar because
gotcha.
of that. But those are the 3 frozen dessert categories. Well, there's a 4th, a vegan, and a sorbet, of course, would be a vegan option. It doesn't contain animal products, but usually the vegans have a fat substitute. Sorbets don't have a fat substitute, and today they'll either use coconut or oat milk or cashew milk, almond milk, and so forth. Those are the so that would make up the vegan category, of which sorbet is a subcategory.
I never thought I'd be like, oh, this is just watermelon. It's like really good. Normally I'm like, oh, did you put like yuzu in it or like I don't know.
All right.
This is what is that? What did that
So
say?
this one is Bailey's.
Bailey's Irish cream.
Is it alcoholic?
It's alcoholic, and
Do you
it's
have to be
made with
21 to order this?
Yes, I have an older clientele. My customers, basically 80% of them are well over 21.
I love this.
So this is an ice cream.
That's an ice cream. It's a very good seller. I've had it since day one.
I mean, have you met anybody that doesn't like Bailey's? I mean, I'd be like,
And this one has chocolate.
Oh, I do put chocolate in there. I cut my own chocolate.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, it's nice bitter dark chocolate too.
And the chocolate works so well with the Baileys.
no wonder you never leave Virginia.
That is super delicious.
Chocolate chip for adults.
Yeah. I love that bitter finish of the chocolate. I really do enjoy that. A nice.
Does it really have an alcoholic context?
Oh yeah, and it has Baileys, not an Irish cream. Bailey's Irish cream.
It's really good. So, are you a fan of putting the chips in the machine and letting it roll in the machine, or do you put it and sprinkle it as you're canning?
I add it as the ice cream comes out of the machine. Because I like, if you put it in the machine, they kind of has like a pebbles in water where they start rounding and getting polished. No, I like the little edges of the chocolate. They really work well with the ice cream.
Oh my God, this
All
is
right,
good.
Gina.
There used to be an ice cream festival at Union Market.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was called ice cream. It was called the Jubilee, and they had it every year until before COVID, right? Did you ever participate in that?
No, I never have. I wasn't making ice cream then.
Oh yeah, that's right. How long you opened?
A year and a half.
That's it?
That's it.
Yeah.
Did we say that at the beginning of this? A year and a half? What?
A year and a half. I actually have 3 more stores opening in the next month or so.
Where?
But, one in Fairfax at Mosaic District.
Okay.
One in Rockville Pike at Federal Plaza.
Oh my gosh.
And then I've got a soft serve going into a new food hall in Friendship Heights, Maryland.
Wow.
And they're all opening in the next 3 to 6 weeks.
How do you hire for that? I mean, are you like
Well, I've been trying to grow more arms.
All right, Gina. So now here's the test. You've tasted 3.
Yeah.
And now you have to figure out what kind of tip are you going to give us? Which one?
Well, I'm eating all chocolate right now, so. I gotta do the cucumber.
You got to do the cucumber. All right.
Okay, so there's nothing more traditional in the United States than having an ice cream float. You know, during Prohibition, people ate ice cream all the time to replace that alcohol. So what's kind of more amazing than that? We're going way back. We're gonna use a traditional ice cream, which is made with cucumber, all the way back, all the way across the pond, all the way to Queen Victoria. At least that's what Rollin told me. I'm not sure, but we'll find that out in the episode, right? So here is my tip today. We are going to build a traditional float using, maybe now it's standard, it's not such a traditional form of ice cream. So what we're gonna do is, this is how you do it, okay? You first take your first scoop of ice cream. So we're gonna take our ice cream, and it's gorgeous, right? Look at that. Cucumber, so beautiful. And we're gonna take that and we're gonna put it in the bottom of our glass, 1 scoop, okay? Now, if you're like me or anybody that loves ice cream, that's probably not enough. But right now you have it resting on a spoon and you want it to sit on that spoon, because this is how you're gonna uplift your float. So we're gonna take that, and normally you would have like a better ice cream scoop, but this is a bar show, so we'll have that in there, right? So you put your first scoop of ice cream. Then you're gonna add your syrup. We're using a maple syrup with a little bit of glitter in it, just because I had it on hand. Super fun, have a nice little flavor combination with the ice cream. So you put that in. Next thing you do is you add a little bit of soda water, right? So now you notice I'm only gonna go about halfway up the glass. And you're like, oh, well, it doesn't really look mixed to me, and it's gonna be really weird. You are correct. So now comes the point where you're gonna start to mix the bottom. You're gonna give it a twirl, and the ice cream is still stuck to that spoon. With a secondary scooper or bar spoon, you take the next part of the ice cream. And this is what you call the money shot, right? The most put together scoop. So I put it there, because you're gonna see this, because it will float. You're gonna put it on top. And however you set this at this point is where it's gonna live, like that, okay? So now you're gonna have that in there. And we're going to add our next bit of soda water. And you're gonna get a nice little head that comes up. And this is really simple, right? You have to make the choice. Do you want some citrus in this? I don't know. I like a little bit of citrus in mine. We could leave it alone and leave it on the bottom like that, so you have this built. You can add a little bit of fresh cucumber to it for a garnish. You can do whatever you want, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of cucumber and a bit of mint and make kind of like a little boutonniere, if you will, for the ice cream. And I stuck it through, and I'm just gonna have it rest ever so gently in the glass with the ice cream, and I'm gonna add a little bit more just because we can. And then we'll add a straw, a little bit more ice cream, and you wanna serve it with the spoon and the ice cream and everything together, because that is how you make a float. Now, notice there's no alcohol in here. Well, you know, I do have children too, and sometimes I don't always feel like getting after it. So it might be nice sometimes to just take this as a non-alcoholic approach, so you keep everybody happy, delicious, and it's all together. And there you go. A non-traditional, traditional ice cream float. Enjoy.
Gina, I didn't think you could make that cucumber ice cream or any better than it is.
I mean, it's just a float, right? But like, that's so traditional and rich in the history of ice cream shops in America. But how delicious is that with a cucumber, though? I can't even.
I know.
It's the cucumber. It's like, it's so good. It's so good. You should be so, I mean, obviously, I think you're proud of your product, but this product is really good.
Should take that because she doesn't usually ooh and ah over everyone. She's got something special going here.
I know, seriously. I think I was like, oh, so anyway, hope you have a nice second episode, Louise. I have stuff to do. Thanks.
All right, so before we do that, where are they going to go to get this tip?
You're going to go to designateddrinker.show for our tip, and you can see that on Instagram at designateddrinker. And stay tuned and see the cocktails later.
Yep, absolutely. So to that point, if you didn't catch anything Gina just said, don't worry, just scroll down into your episode notes. You'll be able to find those links to the website, to Instagram, but you're also going to make sure you have a hot link to Mimi's Handmade ice cream. So if you're in the area, exactly how to go indulge in some of this deliciousness.
Absolutely.
It's so good. It's so good. All right, hate to break you away from the ice cream, Gina, but this does bring us to the end of part 1 with designated drinker and apparently head scientist of Mimi's Handmade ice cream, Rollin Amore. But if you're anything like me and Gina, one round is just never enough. So go top off that drink or grab a scoop of ice cream and get ready for part 2 of this episode as we continue our boozy, ice creamy, frozen dessert deliciousness banter. And Gina's sure to share a recipe that will make you scream for ice cream. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Also, I want to be an ice cream scientist when I grow up, so thank you.
That's his title.
I know, I love it.
The Designated Drinker Show is produced by Missing Link, a Latino-owned, strategy-driven, creatively fueled production co-op. From ideation to creation, we craft human connections through intelligent, engaging, and informative content. Also in the Missing Link lineup of podcasts is Roger That, a podcast dedicated to guiding you through the haze of dementia, led by skilled caregivers. Now, if you're looking for a whole new way to enjoy the theater, check out Between Acts, an immersive audio theater podcast experience. Each episode takes you on a spellbinding journey through the works of newfound playwrights, from dramas to comedies and everything in between. Find Missing Link's League of Podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And while you're there, please don't forget to follow, download, and review the shows. Your reviews help our shows reach new audiences. To find out more about Missing Link, visit missinglink.company. That's missinglink.company.